Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the SAE Mic'd Up podcast. My name is Janku. And he is Morocco. We had a little bit of an intro delay problem here. Today's episode is starting on a very good note, Morocco.
Very high note. Very
high note.
All right.
It's always good vibes when it comes to the SAE podcast. Let's be honest. Like, it never feels like work or anything. It's just honestly banter and memes.
Yeah, because we don't actually do any work. We just show up.
We show up, talk a bit of nonsense, and then fair enough.
Vibes, you know, and then we're recruiting. We're
Recruiting
really well.
Morocco, but first, we've got a very special guest here today.
Yeah.
Please,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we got the one and only Brendan.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, thanks for having me today.
Welcome. So how are you?
I am very well, thanks today. And yourself?
Good. Always good. Always smiling. What can I say?
Brendan is an official new staff member at SAE Joburg.
Yes.
But
Got to get that bag.
you know,
Indeed.
secure that bag. We're still unemployed.
We're unemployed. He's fine.
He's fine.
We're still
securing it.
screwed, yeah. But firstly, we have a few announcements to get to. So, Morocco, can you please tell us the most important thing right now? We've got actually two. They're both very important.
They're very important announcements. You know, so can I start off with the fun one?
Pick and choose.
The fun one is we got Comic-Con coming up in September.
Yes, sir.
And if you guys, I'm not on that one. I'm on that one. Which one? Here. Listen. Here.
Boom.
Right.
I'm the captain now.
Look at me. Me and you. Serious chat. Now, you want free Comic-Con tickets.
Yeah.
Keep up on
Let me get these
the,
stats
the
ready.
IG. The IG.
Let me
on
get the stats.
SAE. What's the SAE?
SAE social, so we can
Yeah.
get it. I'm getting my contact details now. No, I'm just kidding. Not my contact details. But everywhere we have it, we've got that on the SAE Instagram account. We've got it on the SAE Facebook account.
Yep.
On the YouTube account, we are saying it right now, right here, live.
and in living
We've
color.
got the SAE TikTok account.
We do.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, Morocco, you and
I
I
need to
are
go.
on there. My shop
I'm
follow.
gonna follow now. Yeah.
Shout out to the SAE TikTok account. I
Shout
feel
out
there's not
SAE.
enough people that know about it. But yes, we're on Instagram, Facebook,
TikTok,
TikTok,
YouTube. Yeah.
I almost want to say LinkedIn. We're not on LinkedIn. Yeah, those four social media platforms, please keep a very, very keen eye out. There should be posters as well on campus around. There should be people talking about it, chatting and everything. But we are hosting a competition, not we, but the higher ups, you know.
The powers that be.
Yeah, the cool people in the office.
The guys that keep the lights on.
The cool people in the office are hosting a competition. I'm trying my best not to say what it's about, but there's a competition.
There is a competition.
There is a competition.
T's and C's
pulling
apply.
through.
We cut it there.
Cut it there. There will be
yeah.
a few tickets to be won to SAE Comic Con. It's around about the 26th to the 29th of September. As far as I know, it's going to be vibes. You might. Yo, Morocco, don't want to drop.
No,
information.
don't. Because in case our lawyer doesn't.
Yeah, our lawyers.
We're kind of put on a.
Tarin, if you're watching us, Megan, if you're watching us, Lisa, if you're watching us, we are very sorry, but we are trying our best. But you might see us there at the SAE Comic Con pull through. We will have our own SAE booth and everything. It's going to be very, very vibes. And like I said, watch out for the competition. I'm very excited for. We know what it's about. We are not allowed to tell you what it's about.
There's a reason they didn't tell me what it's about because.
Yeah, because we are blabbermouths.
Yeah.
So honestly, it would not fly. But however, you guys will know soon. I think we're yapping too much about it, but keep an eye out. It's going to be very exciting. A few tickets to be won. And vibes. Morocco the second, very most important thing we have to talk about.
Second announcement. Like we were talking about how we're recruiting now.
Yeah, we're recruiting.
We're
Morocco
recruiting now and
tuned a bit of it.
you know, so we're looking for. Essentially, we're looking to replace ourselves. That sounds so
honestly,
painful.
we are the furniture. We are very old here. There's beginning to get dust on our student cards.
Yeah.
Like it's beginning to get hectic.
It's so
Michael
bad
liked that joke, you see. But like we are getting very old in age. So, Morocco is.
Don't
just kidding. Nah, But yeah, we are looking for new people to come join the podcast, to join the experience, join the vibes. We've got a few bits of content coming out, sneak peeks, teasers, stuff like that, things that are happening at the podcast and why you should be a part of it. Honestly, we've got a few people sitting job shadowing back there. Shout out to the peeps.
Shout out to the team.
But yeah, if you want to come through, contact me, Morocco, Instagram, Facebook, social media, TikTok, everything. Contact us. There will be posters coming up. We will be coming through to classes. We will be everything. You will see us. You will see us definitely. And if you are keen, please be a part of the podcast team, new podcast team. We're looking for hosts. We are looking for sound people, film people, script writers, creative media people, everything. If you can think of
whatever
it.
gift you think you have, whatever
Bring
talent you
it.
want to share with the team, please by all means contribute.
We've
We
got
love
a
it.
bunch of spots with people like that need to be filled that we are very excited for. Like I said, like Morocco said, if you have a talent, you want to share something, please pull through. We want you to be a part of the team.
Absolutely.
But nonetheless, Morocco, like I said, we've got a special guest here today. Brandon, how are you feeling? How has your experience been so far here at SAE?
It has overall just been an absolutely phenomenal experience. You know, seeing students that are just so passionate about the creative works that they're working on, whether it's my own students in gaming or the students in film and animation and in sound, like it's just really inspiring to see people that are so passionate about what they're doing. So yeah, so it's been great.
I think it's a general thing. There's people are gonna say, "Yeah, you guys are repeating the same thing over and over again," but it's factual. Like it really is a good vibe. It's a very good energy, and tell us a bit more. We kept it a bit of a secret, but you are one of our new gaming lecturers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how's that experience been so far? Let me ask you this: what got you into gaming? What was the I want to say breaking point. My Afrikaans English is a bit rough. What was the peak where you were like, I want to do gaming? This is my thing.
I think people don't really believe this when I tell them, but when I was a kid, like my parents, like video games were banned in my household. They were like, no, video games are taboo. Go outside and be active and do stuff like that. Go touch grass. But then I think like when I was in high school, like I've always been passionate about creative things and making stuff, as well as technology and computers and stuff. And I was like, cool. Video games seems like, obviously like when I became a teenager, my parents were like, cool, you can play games now and stuff. So like I became passionate about games and I was like, that's just really, I feel like will be a good opportunity for me to combine those two passions for making stuff and creativity with technology. And that's how I sort of got into making video games. I think I made my first video game when I was like 14 years old. It wasn't great. It was just some terrible thing I put together on the weekend, like just from watching YouTube tutorials. It was honestly terrible, so please don't go look for it.
We will find it.
What was it?
It was basically like a platformer, but it was R2-D2 going through the Death Star.
That's so cool though.
It was terrible. No, it was terrible.
So what's it called?
What's
it's
cool?
not
Get the
my
voice
mind.
recorder
It's
going.
just on an old hard drive at home, yeah. And then, yeah,
Where do you
obviously
live?
from there.
Where you said hard drive?
Hypothetically speaking, if you were
Where
to
would you
hide
put
said
it?
hard drive.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, and from there I just really got into making games, and here I am now teaching people how to make games.
Fair enough.
That's interesting.
I think from Morocco and I's standpoint as well, I mean, we know, even though you're saying, yeah, it was a kind of a bad video game, making video games are hectic. I had IT on a high school based in matric. My friends that are watching this, they know that IT was hectic. But Morocco also had a bit of IT in his past.
Yeah.
A bit of here and there. How's IT been for you? How is it teaching like all these different coding languages and things like that? Because I know that was hectic. For me, it was like I was scraping through. Like honestly, matric was like we hope it. I remember telling my IT teacher, bless her heart, I love her to bits. But I told her at the beginning of matric, I was like, either you help me pass this, like I'm struggling, like this is hectic, or I'm taking cat. Like no in between. Like it's either cat or IT, and if it's not gonna, I'm switching. But yeah, how's that? How's IT?
I think the teaching of it is actually very rewarding. I mean, seeing people like starting out going from knowing almost little to no code at all to within a relatively short span of time being able to like make video games. It's incredibly rewarding to see that, okay, cool, this is happening because of me because I gave them the skills, because I showed them and guided them along the way. So it's incredibly rewarding to see those efforts pay off.
Yeah, and it's like it's real-time rewards as well, because it's like it's different with art, I'd say. Especially
like
for
drawing
music.
art.
No,
yeah, I guess
it's
like music.
you
yeah,
don't really know if your lecturer's gonna like what you
yeah, it's interpretive.
I'm not
like,
saying I like everything I see.
But like for you, it's that thing where it's like I'm
It'll
teaching you
work.
how to do this,
Yeah.
and seeing you actually do that. It's like
If
it
it
might
works, it
not
works.
it might not be what I prefer to do with it, but seeing that you can do that is quite rewarding. Versus with us, it's like, okay, guys,
Your
you can
snares
do this,
pop.
and then your snares pop.
yeah.
Put some beat on that top.
Like for real, because I think also like gaming and coding and things like that, it's like that typical thing from your like first Hello World, being like, I inputted this like section of code and now this is visually like this is your first GUI or GUI or whatever people call it. I heard that's a conversation, but like your first interface, things like that, being like, this is what I actually coded. Like, music is up for interpretation, but I feel like if there's no interface, there's no interface, type of thing. So I think like Morocco said, like it's in real time, you can see my students are doing this and they're succeeding.
Yeah, it's I just really enjoy, like, I think also with the students is seeing how students interpret things differently. So you might give them all the same brief, so say go make this, and then you see like 20 different ways that that's been interpreted, which is also really interesting to see how people take that and they make it their own.
Yeah. I mean, even with that, I wanted to ask, like, what sort of challenges do you think you have faced already or are expecting to face? And since you are a new gaming lecturer, so what would you say is the most challenging part of lecturing that you've faced or could possibly face?
I don't know, definitely the most challenging is learning people's names. Like, I am notoriously terrible with names. So like when you get a class and you're like, cool, there's 20 new people here. Okay, maybe in 10 weeks I'll know your names.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think sometimes it's adjusting because all students learn at different speeds. They've got different experiences in their past, and maybe some have got some experience with coding, some are just coming in completely on absolutely no experience. So it's adjusting to manage or adjusting your different styles for those different students and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think that's also a thing. Like I said, I don't want to repeat from previous episodes, but it doesn't matter when you come to SAE. If you have knowledge on, it doesn't matter anything. Like you can still come up and like do gaming. If you don't have music knowledge, you can still come do music. Things like that. I mean, I even know like students that are very musically inclined, but they chose this do, for example, like animation, things like that. Like they're like, everyone's so multi-talented, and even we've got friends that like didn't technically have prior music knowledge, but they still they decided to do sound, and they are with us to this day, type of thing. They're still succeeding, and I think that's a very beautiful thing. Like you said, not everyone's on the same page necessarily at the start, but like it's not where you start, it's how you grow. I feel that's fantastic.
I think that's what's so nice about gaming, because it's such a broad thing that incorporates so many different things. You might not be the world's greatest coder, but like if you can, I don't know, create sound for games really well, like there's just so many niche things that you can specialize in and combine so many different mediums. I mean, just thinking here, what we've got at SE, we've got gaming, but then we've got film, animation, and sound, and all of those are in some way involved in gaming anyway. I mean, whether you're doing the cutscenes for the games or the animation of the characters or the sounds for the games. So yeah, so I love that gaming is so broad and people can really just follow that one specific thing that they're really interested in.
That's so great, because also with us, when we came into sound, because we are sound students, so we'd obviously speak a bit more on sound. But
Not biased at all, but
we're not biased. Not a little bit. But when we came here, we all initially had an idea of what it is that we wanted to do. But once you're introduced to like the broader side of
spectrum.
things, then you realize there's actually so much more to this than I thought there was. And for you specifically, Brandon, I want to ask, what was it about gaming in particular that stood out to you that you're like, yes, gaming, but also yes, teaching it?
Well, I think with getting into gaming, I always thought like, I was like, cool, I'll just be a programmer. I just want to write code and everything. Once I started actually like formally studying video game design, I was like, cool, there's actually so much stuff that I'm interested in a little bit of everything. So like my main passion is like the holistic idea of games. So that holistic view of cool, we've got this programming, we've got this design, we've got this art, this sound, and that overall, I get in industry, they call it production. So that person who's responsible for making sure that each of those areas connects to one another. And then with wanting to get into the teaching, I've always enjoyed teaching people. I mean, I used to work as an art tutor. I used to, like, in my past life, I used to upload videos to YouTube and like tutorials and stuff, showing people how to do different things. And I've just always enjoyed imparting knowledge to people. I feel like a lot of times, especially these days, people are like, cool, I know how to do something, but I don't want to show anyone else how to do it because I'm scared that they're going to get better than me and overtake me. We see like all these people typically on Instagram, they're like, cool, subscribe to my course on masterclass and then I'll show you how to be a forex trader or something like that. But I just believe that, you know, knowledge shouldn't be something that people gatekeep. I believe that knowledge should be something that's shared and is freely available, and you're able to just impart to as many people as possible.
No, that's awesome.
Like, that's beautiful.
You're just preaching right now.
Yeah, no, for real. Like,
just waiting to see a halo.
yeah, no, but it really is like that, because there are definitely people in the industry, doesn't matter where you are, that are very like even outside of the creative industry, people like, yeah, I'm doing this, but I'm scared, like almost a bit of an insecurity of like being like, yeah, I'm too scared to show you this or help you on this because I'm scared it'll overtake me, for example. And I feel at SAE, like, there's none of that, because everyone wants to help each other. You know, it's a very healthy like space of, we want to grow together and we want to build each other up, because ultimately this is going to be your network. You know, so there's no point in shunning someone away because of something, you know, whatever, because these are the people you want to surround yourself with. So bettering yourself or helping someone better themselves is also helping you better yourself in that way as well.
Because you don't want this reputation of someone who is like gatekeeps their knowledge and isn't like forge these connections, because like one day if you're in industry and you're looking for a job and you'll be like, hey, I studied with this guy, do you want to put in a good word for me, or stuff like that. So yeah, it's very much I often think about, like, my main hobby is cosplay, so also another creative medium, and within there is so much gatekeeping of knowledge and skills, because so much of it is tied to people competing and like at big competitions for cosplay, and they're like, I don't want to show you how I did this because I want to win the competition, so what if you go do that? But yeah, it's I don't believe in that at all. I believe that if someone knows how to do something, share it with people, tell people how it's done.
No, that's great, because I feel like that's how a lot of our lecturers are as well. Like, they're just so into just outside of just imparting information just getting information for themselves. It's, I want to build and be a part of creating the next like generation of creatives.
No, definitely. I mean, and the thing is as well, like, we've got the utmost respect for our lecturers, but as well, it's a thing of like, we're friends with our lecturers. It's because the thing is, ultimately, what a lot of our lecturers told us, like, when you leave this space, it's not like you have to delete my number and forget who I am, things like that. Like, it was once your lecture, but now it's a contact in the industry, type of thing. And that's also very cool for me. Like I said, like, building up on each other. So yeah, honestly, it's very cool.
Vibes.
No, it is vibes. Then I need to ask a few personal questions, like get to know your lecturer. So you are a gaming lecturer.
Yes.
And we saw you the other day with a Comic-Con hoodie as well. Like, that's very cool.
I've got so much Comic-Con merch because they just give it to me and I'm like,
I'll
take it. I'm not going to say no. Give me all the Comic-Con stuff.
So since you are a gaming lecturer, we also like asked Andy, check out that episode.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. It was an amazing interview with Andrea Hayes. But I want to ask you, what would you say are like a top 3, or maybe like off the top of your head, like games that you enjoy? Like
favorite games of all time.
Yeah, games that you like, this is my go-to, I enjoy this, whether it's single player for the story, whether it's multiplayer for just jamming with friends, you know. What's your pick your poison? What's your poison?
Well, yeah, I think this is often a question I get asked, like, just being a game designer. Some people often ask, what's your favorite game? And my answer always surprises people, because it's a game that I don't think anyone else has it as their favorite game, but it's the original 2005 Star Wars Battlefront 2. And the reason, we got people clapping behind camera, and I mean, it's just a great game. I mean, obviously it probably doesn't hold up to standards today, but the reason that I just love that game so much is because there's so many memories associated with that game for me. Is like, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, I wasn't really allowed to play games as a kid. But my best friend who lived next door had a PlayStation 2. And so every afternoon I was there with him playing that game. That's the game adaptation of the third Lord of the Rings movie. So that game's got a very special place in my heart as one of my favorite games. I think another game that is it's more of a recent game that I think a lot more people will be familiar with, that I just think is absolutely phenomenal. Everything about it is amazing. Is Hades. I mean, it is the writing, the art, the mechanics, the design. It's just, it's a beautiful piece of art. And then just something that I
haven't finished the game. I can't say anything. I haven't finished it. I'm not allowed to say anything.
And then just my guilty pleasure game that if I'm just feeling lazy on a Saturday and I'm like, cool, let me play this, I do play a lot of Call of Duty. Not so much recently. I've been quite busy recently, but that's my guilty pleasure. It's just playing the new Call of Duty. And I used to be quite good. I've gotten bad in recent years, but at one stage I was in the top 1,000 players in South Africa.
Oh wow!
That was many years ago when I was in high school and I had more time.
Bragging rights.
So, like you said, I also know, like I said, I played Hades before. It's a very great game. Hades 2 is now out as well.
I think it's in early access. So there's
somewhere
a few parts of it that are out. I think end of the year we're getting the full thing.
Okay.
Maybe next
year. Like Hades, it's got a beautiful story. I know the thing of it. It's the voice lines and things like that is amazing. The voice actors, the amount of voice lines are unending. Things like that. The graphics and all that. Speaking about games like that, what would you like to see come up in the gaming industry? Would you like want to see more platformers? There's a new Metroid coming out, or as far as I know, for example, things like that. Would you want to see more platformers, first-person shooters, or do you want to see people more focus on graphics? Things like that. What would you like to see as a gamer, but also a game creator?
I think what I'd like to see is more stylistic art, because I think these days, they have the big conferences where they announce the games and all they're boasting about is their hyper-realistic graphics and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And personally, I don't really like hyper-realistic graphics. I would far rather play something with a cartoon style or a watercolor paint style or something like that, because I just think that's far more interesting to do. We had with Hades, it had very much that illustrated look to it with the dark outlines and the almost painterly color schemes and everything, as well as things like Genshin Impact using an anime toon style. I think those things are far more interesting than hyper-realistic things where people are just cool, how close can we get to reality? And the interesting thing is some of those games with the more simple graphics, I'd like to say, because that's what people call it, as opposed to the hyper-realistic, but the more artistic ones are actually sometimes easier to make than the hyper-realistic. And so I think more people should be making games like that. I would far rather spend 30 hours in a game that looks beautiful because it's been artistically designed with the VFX and all that kind of stuff, and with the style, as opposed to something that looks like my reality.
Yes, that is so true.
Yeah, that's so valid. Yeah, because a lot of games are go for the reality of it, and like you said, I think instead of grinding to make this as natural as possible, make it more out there cartoony, because I feel that's the thing of people play games, I know me as well, sometimes to escape reality, type of thing. So if you're this very weird character in this very cartoony, bright colored aspects, it's so far from reality, you can imagine yourself in a different thing, almost said with cosplaying as well. Cosplay is also a thing almost that small escape from reality.
Oh, definitely.
So I actually you put it in a very nice way. I really like that, to be rather focus on the art of it instead of just being this is the best AAA game, or costs you 1,000 rand on release, you need the best PC, my Core i5 third, 5th gen is struggling right now. It can't keep up. I stand my ground. It's difficult. So I think they maybe needed more things like that. That's a very nice way to put it.
And I think we are seeing more of that. I mean, there's a game coming out. I think it's end of this year, early next year, called Mouse, which is basically inspired by 1920s animation. So that black and white Mickey Mouse style thing, and it's first person. Yeah. And I mean, that looks so much cooler than a hyper-realistic person with
it just looks like a person.
Where it looks like just footage or something from a camera where it's so much cooler to be this first person of a black and white mouse in a 1920s cartoon.
That's so valid, yeah.
Yeah, because again, like it's the whole escapism aspect of gaming. You know, you don't want to be. I don't want to live my life here and then boom, the exact same things that I'm seeing there, right here. You know, I'd like a sense of where else can my brain get taken? Where else can I just? I want to immerse myself into this new world that I haven't been in, and I know that at the end of the day or whenever I just need to get my mind off of things, this is where I go. And I think that's so beautiful what gaming actually does for just people in general, you know. And it's an industry that is really underrated incredibly. Like everybody hypes a lot of different industries, but gaming is an intense industry to be in, is psychologically as well. Like
it's a very cutthroat industry.
I can imagine.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, because I feel people are like, oh yeah, you shouldn't like grow up playing games. Like you said, like it's a waste of time, things like that, whatever. And I feel a lot of people like feel about that in the way of like, oh, you're not an engineer or you're not a scientist, things like that. I feel like there's a very big market and a very important place for creative media and things like that. And I feel, like you said, like gaming is underrated. I mean, the world is going in that way. Gaming is huge and it's only getting bigger, you know.
I saw a great thing the other day, and it's basically saying, doctors make our lives healthier, engineers make our lives easier and everything, and all those industries, they make our lives easier and easier to live. But it's the creative industries that actually make our lives worth living. And I mean, like, I might have the best doctor, I might have the best bridge or the best car to get to work, but it's what I do in my free time. And a lot of people say, oh, like creative media and stuff isn't really valid. But what do they do in their free time? They're watching Netflix, they're listening to Spotify, they're playing a game, they're reading a book. All of those are creative media. And so whether you know it or not, you're consuming it. And it should be given that same level of respect as we maybe give to doctors or to engineers, because in fact, I'm biased, I'm gonna say even more maybe. I mean, an engineer's building a bridge. Bridges have been designed. If you're making a song, you're creating something from nothing. And you're making your own thing in this world that's never existed, coming out of your mind. I mean, we've seen 1,000 bridges.
Yeah, it's valid.
True.
Yeah.
A house can only get so, like, you know, ingewikkeld. Like, how can I put it?
Subtitles.
I don't know how to top this. I feel like that's like such a good note.
Nah, that's a good
Brendan
point
Jackson, 2024.
Morocco.
No, honest, do you want me to top that?
No, we can't top that.
Because I will jump out this window.
Like, I feel like it's the type of thing I don't know what to say now. Like that, like I'm gonna cry in the corner after this. Like, Now, Brendan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Like, it was a quick one, but it was such a cool chat, and we'd definitely like to see you again.
Thanks for having me. It was a ton of fun. And you know where to find me downstairs at my desk. So
We're always there anyway.
They know us by now. They know us by now. But so that's been me. I've been Janku.
And I have been Morocco.
We have been with Brendan.
Yes, sir.
And we are signing out. Peace. Cheers.